On the Mark with Father Mark Davis. It's time for our weekly conversation with Father Mark. Good morning to you, Father. How are you this morning?
Hey, Father.
Good morning, everyone. How are all of you?
Doing great. Thank you.
Wow. I was just kind of listening to that explanation and the matter and the form. And that is so brilliant. But I have to be honest, it feels a little overwhelming for me this early in the morning on a Monday.
It's always
feel
overwhelming.
Like it's a little bit over my head, and I'm a tall man.
It's hard to get over your head, Father.
It is.
Well, it is, and it's easy to get overwhelmed as the apostles were, because I heard that there's a guy that whenever I get down or feel overwhelmed, this friend of mine thinks back to his great uncle's final words to him from his deathbed. The man said, "Be positive." That being said, he would have preferred he just answered the question he asked him about his blood type so they could have saved him.
It's a philosophical encouragement rather than
exactly.
the actual need.
Well, there's another story about a man turning 50 years old, and his father says, "My boy, you are now about to become the old coot that I've been. So as you turn 50, I entrust you with this book, and I hope it would be useful to you as it was to me." And the son, turning 50, curious on the present his father gave him, unwrapped the book and looked at the title. It said, 1,001 Best Dad Jokes Ever. Now, he was overwhelmed with emotions. Overwhelmed. The son hugged his father. "You have no idea how much this means to me, Dad. Thank you. I'm honored." His father, fighting back his tears, hugged his son tightly and whispered, "Hi, honored. I'm Dad."
1002.
Yeah.
So, final one. A woman finds herself in serious money trouble. Lost her job, and she's in dire financial straits. She's desperate, so she decides to ask God for help. She begins to pray, "God, please help me. I've lost my job, and if I don't get some money, I'm going to lose my house as well. Please let me win the lottery." The lottery night comes, and somebody else wins. She again prays, "God, please let me win the lottery. I've lost my job, my house, and I'm going to lose my car as well." Lottery night comes, and she still has no luck. Once again, she prays, "God, why have you forsaken me? I've lost my job, my house, and my car. My children are starving. I don't often ask you for help, and I've always been a good servant to you. Please let me win the lottery just this one time so I can get my life back in order." Suddenly, there's a blinding flash of light as the heavens open. The woman's overwhelmed by the voice of God himself. "Sweetheart, work with me on this. Buy a ticket."
Yeah, you can't win if you don't participate.
That's right.
So, old joke, but very interesting. This feeling of being overwhelmed just reminds me of the apostles. I mean, so often in the scriptures, they put facts in there, and it's easy to gloss over them. In this section this weekend from Matthew, it says, after the death of John the Baptist, Jesus goes out on a boat to a deserted place out way far away, and then people hear about it, and they come and he starts healing them. Like, John the Baptist, presumably, we're presuming, of course, but it could have been that John the Baptist, his cousin, was his closest friend. They both had very special births. Their mothers had a connection. I mean, he could have had a different connection to John the Baptist than anybody. And presumably, if St. Joseph, that could have been much older, this could have been the most devastating death in Jesus' whole life. One of them at least. And then it may even prefigured his own violent, death that's going to happen to him. So he is just devastated and overwhelmed with emotion. He goes off alone, and what does he do? He goes off alone in the boat. It's not just a boat ride. God filled him with grace. His Father filled him with grace. And then as he was filled with some grace, he had all these people come. And then somehow, I wonder if there was somehow in healing these people one by one, with God's love and grace and power of healing going through him, that somehow Jesus was becoming more and more restored and filled himself. And then so he starts, preaching, and then, as the hours go on, his apostles are probably standing around going, "Do you see all these people? Uh-huh. Do you think he's ever going to stop preaching? I don't know. Do you see how long that line is? Uh-huh. I think we're in trouble. Uh-huh. I think they're gonna kill us all." And they're getting really nervous and overwhelmed. And then Jesus simply says, "Give them something to eat yourself." And, presumably, who knows what the miracle was? God certainly has the power to just multiply food. Because he's God. But some people have conjectured maybe everyone who went way out in the middle of nowhere brought something that was so afraid to be able to share. Who knows what it was, but God worked a miracle in which there was enough food. And I think it's just the sense of being overwhelmed is something so relatable. It's so easy to get overwhelmed in life. I think about people who are newly widowed, people, and then maybe they're having to do taxes or the lawn or the cooking or things for the first time. Overwhelmed with having to go back to school, overwhelmed with just, the weight of the world and everything that's going on, or their own finances, or that people are overwhelmed with the loneliness of not being able to leave their house because of sickness or age, and then they're not able to be themselves anymore, or they're overwhelmed with the fact they don't know why they're still here. It's so easy to be overwhelmed, but Jesus tells us what to do. He shows us, go to God for grace, and then bring what you have. We bring our 5 loaves and 2 fish, bring whatever we have, and God makes it enough. So God bless you all listening. This week, think about what's overwhelming in your life. Bring it to God. Have God give you grace and peace, and bring what you have, and God will make it enough.
Love it. Thank you, Father.
Thanks, Father. Have a good week.
Father
Thank
Mark
you.
Davis.
You too.